Hey, welcome back. So I know last time I said like, oh, I'm gonna do these once a month. But then I had to sit down and edit it, and it was not fun to edit, at least for like these sit down combos. Maybe there'll be longer videos for like when I am out and about and out around town. So there's that. So today I have a sticky note again. So, ooh, does it stick? It just, oh, it does. Put it right here. Okay. So we are gonna do, I think I'm gonna call these like body checks. I don't think I like that though. So I'm actually going to get comfortable and then continue to limit the moving around. We have, today is the 8th of February, and this is like the beginning of the month weigh-in. So I think I'm honestly weighing in every 2 weeks, but here we are. So our body fat percentage, our body fat percentage has gone down to 47.8, and our muscle mass has gone up to 23.6. But yay, so making progress there in 2 weeks, which is really good. I think the thing that I have changed since the last time I recorded was like, I'm just eating when I get hungry. So you know how they say, and listen, I'm nobody's dietary anybody, so listen to the people. And as for me, I found that it's helpful to just eat when I'm hungry. So I wouldn't, like, sometimes I've noticed that depending on how much activity that I get in, that determines like how many meals a day I eat. So like if I'm not really doing much, I'm not really that hungry, which is cool. And I like that because then it's more of like a body feedback. So I'll take it. And that's what I've been doing differently. Other than that, everything else the same. Warm water, going for walks, doing yoga. And yes, however, I did notice there's one day in here where, because I started this like calisthenic journey, because that's what I really want to get into calisthenics, like, and be able to do all the cool things. And I noticed that before when I was trying to just like eat on a schedule, right? And be like, not eat past this time. I like did a workout late, and then I didn't eat because it was past that time, and I had the worst migraine. Like my body was like starving, but past starving, if that makes sense. Like, you know, when you're like, you feel hungry and then there's a point where you don't even feel hungry, but your head hurts and you feel weak. Like that's where I was at. So I was like, ooh, not doing that again. So I have to like make sure to like get in protein after I do those. But it did scare me a little bit because I'm like, whoa, I don't want to be doing any harm to my body. So that was that thus far. Next, my videography journey. So I went to, so my godmom, she has a choir and they were singing. So I went and recorded. And let me tell you what, it was the most humbling experience I've ever had in my whole entire life. Like so learning that there's so much of a difference between having a camera for videography versus having a camera for photography. Although some of the things like overlap, but I just wasn't thinking. So like I was gifted this beautiful camera. And it came with like the standard lens. So I took that lens to try to record at a church. And I thought I was relatively close, but I mean, the footage was dark. It was just mist. It was a miss. And I'm going to put the recording in there because I also want to document like my failures because that was so humbling. Like, I don't like being bad at things. Obviously, nobody does, but I've realized my not liking being bad at things was actually holding me back. So like, I was just like, yeah, I just got this camera 2 days ago. Let me just go and do it. And like, I went and it was really humbling. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what am I doing? And of course, like, you know, like whenever you have those moments, you just think like, oh, what am I doing with my life? Am I even cut out for this? When really it's just like, okay, that was a fail. Like, go back and figure out what went wrong and like do it again. So that's where I'm at. Figured out what went wrong. I need a different lens. Like, I need a telephoto lens. Like, that just is something that has to happen. So like, I'm on a search to try to find that, but like also to try to understand the science behind lenses. Oh my gosh, I'm about to get, okay. But also try to understand the science behind lenses because like, I need a lens that I can stand on the balcony and get the whole entire choir, but also for it to be wide enough to get the whole entire choir, if that makes sense. Like, I don't need to like zoom in on a crane flying in the sky. Like, I need to be able to zoom in and get a whole choir. So that's something that I'm going to be like working to figure out. And hopefully in the future, I will be able to have footage that will not look like the footage you just saw because it was so bad. It was so bad, y'all. It was so bad. So, you know, not doing that again. So yeah, so like that was my whole videography journey, putting a pin in that. Business going. We are still striving. It is going though. So my follow through will be follow through-ing because I feel like, and this is just going to be a little caveat because I had no plans on talking about like business during this one, but I think it's just one of those things where it's just like you have to keep going or have to keep digging or whatever. Even when you're not seeing any return for a period of time, because the returns are like so much bigger when you do see the returns. And that's something hard to conceptualize, you know, because the bills are due. But that's just where we're at, and that's fine. So here's the last topic, and really why I broke out the camera today, because as you can see, I wasn't planning on getting on camera. I'm about to do my yoga, go for my walk, and call it a day. But there's so much going on right now that I want to make sure to capture this moment. You know, like as millennials, there's so much that has gone on in our lives, right? And we have not captured, well, I'll speak for myself. So much has gone on, and I have not captured my feelings or ideas about the situation at the time. Goes for 9/11, obviously in 5th grade. It goes for, what was it? Like, I think it was like West Nile virus, and then like swine flu, mad cow disease, and then obviously the recession. And oh my God, so many things happened. The market crash, like, oh, I guess that's the recession, when everybody was losing their houses, and also when everybody was getting laid off from work. Like, that was crazy. But have not been able to capture those moments. But here I am today, able to capture this. So this moment is more so on the brink of dictatorship, surrounded by mass corruption and these Epstein files, which I personally feel like, call it a different name, but here we are. Yeah. It is, I'm not going to say getting out of hand because it has been out of hand. However, you know when you can tell when somebody's like causing chaos to try to like blind the masses from the deeds that they were doing? I feel like that's the situation, and we're being inundated with so much information on the subject and just information in general that it's like paralyzing us. And that's really unfortunate, one. Number two, it's really hard to do something about anything when also, unless we're already in it, and that's being covered up too, since we're covering up everything else. But unless we're already in it, we are on the brink of a recession again. And a lot of people are just struggling to survive and struggling to like make it day to day. With that, we're being given so much information about corruption and just really horrible, despicable things that I'm not going to name here, because I just feel like now social media and just media in general is starting to be a little traumatic. Like, it's starting to be a little abusive, and it's okay for it to be informative, but I feel like people are making a spectacle out of what is going on. And that's frustrating, and it actually paralyzes the audience, paralyzes the viewers, rather than bringing about change. So here's what we can do. I think, and this is just capturing my thoughts at the moment, I think we need to treat all of this like it is a group project, period. In a group project, you obviously, well, when you get older, you have a project manager that looks over the whole entire project. Boom. Lays out, these are all the tasks that have to get done before this project is complete. So in order to and we need to go through, list them. I think that's what I'll do. Go through and list. This is what we need to do to get rid of corruption. For these files specifically, I feel divvy up the files. Divvy them up. There needs to be an Epstein file. There needs to be a person 1 file, a person 2 file, a person 3 file. Divvy it up. You cannot inundate us with evidently only 2% of all the files, but there's like thousands of pages that you're trying to be like, here, are you happy now? Like, no, we're not happy because nobody's been held accountable. Divvy up the files. Boom. This is the person. This is their deeds. This is their corruption. This is their demonic activity. This is what they did. Get justice. Divvy it up. And I'm not even saying like this for the average Joe, because a lot of social media is also like, oh, when you'd ask yourself in history, what would you do when they come knocking at your door? This is what you do. Survive. Like, people are really out here trying to survive. But there are also a lot of people who do not have to worry about their month to month, whom still have a job, have not been laid off yet, whom are lawyers, whom are doctors, whom have the resources to take on these additional tasks and the knowledge and education about how the law works to be able to take on these tasks. Divvy it up. Do not have one person or one company try to take on all of these files. And I don't even know if that's how you do it. That's what I'm trying to make. That's not my scope of practice. Divvy it up. You have a person of interest. This is who you're going after. Going after, maybe not good words, but this is who you're going after. Find all the evidence in all of these files for this one person. Boom. Go to the next, go to the next, go to the next. And there should be a slew of people. And there's a slew of companies. There's a slew of law offices in this country that can take on these tasks. Because it's not just the big names, right? Like, we're not going to just be happy with the big names. There's a lot. Who's the driver? Right? Like, who cooked the food? Who cleaned the houses? They weren't cleaning the houses. Who cleaned it up? The things that they were doing, you need specialized cleaning companies to do it. Who are those cleaning companies? Like, break it up in the pieces so people can get justice, the ones that were in the files, and we as a nation who's being not only financially abused, right? Emotionally abused, psychologically abused in this country, we can get the justice so it can never happen again. Because at this point, there's nowhere for America to go unless we figure this out. Period. Now, on the other side of it, because that's what I have to say about that, because I know there's which I'm going to do a deep dive for this specific person, which is why I said, go in there. If you feel like you want to do something, if you feel like you need to do something about these files, which hopefully everybody's called, but if you can, about these files, go in there, find one, get justice for that one. Because I read a journal, because I went in there, because I was like, let me just read it for myself. Because also there's a lot of lies, a lot of there's just a lot. They're trying to overwhelm us. I feel like we see what you're doing, so it's frustrating. But so I went in there for myself and I read a journal, and aside from all the things were in this journal, which was very creatively written, by the way, she is a genius at such a young age to write this journal in this way, because it took me a while to figure it out. And then I started reading and I was like, oh, she's a genius. And I hopefully can figure out how to get justice for her specifically, because that man bit her and they did horrible, horrible things. And that's the thing that was really she said very clearly in there. And there was a lot that was redacted, so you couldn't get fully what she was talking about. But I understand what she alluded to, okay? We are not stupid. But that man bit her, and justice, as well as a lot of other things that were in that journal that I'm not going to get deep into, but I know that's my specific thing. So there's that. So I just wanted to capture that, because this is either going to be a turning point for America to get it better, or a turning point for it to burn. So that's where that's at. But it also didn't necessarily let me see, but just, confirmation bias, I guess, or just confirmation that this country is racist as hell. Racist as hell. You mean to tell me that y'all could start a mob when you hear that a black person whistled at somebody, right? You start a mob, because this is still about, you were saying, the purity of your women, of white women, and the purity of your children, white children, right? You can start a mob for all those things. Burn, about lies, obviously, but burn churches, burn people, hang people, do all of these horrible things to people and be in agreement of that. But here we have proof, right? Proof is here. Proof is here of people harming children, unaliving children, eating children, and doing horrible things. Nary a mob. Where's the mob? Where's the pitchforks? Where's the tiki torches? Where's anything? Where's the little Viking hats and the feces to smear all over the walls? Where is it? Where is it? So it's just it's interesting how selective, depending on who the perpetrator is, but also you guys are the same people that were conspiracy theory at the time, telling all of us that it was going on. Okay, so now that we have the proof, what are you willing to do about it? Nothing. So it's just, like I said, this is either a turning point for this country to be better, because somehow Germany figured out how to never let it happen again. Germany figured out to make sure to teach the history. Germany figured it out. Or it's going to be a turning point for it to burn. I don't know. We will see. Hopefully it can get better. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say on that. And this is long still. So anyway, with that being said, I know it was like it was definitely a sensitive topic and more of a serious topic, but I think we need to be able to talk about these things in the realm of like respect, first of all, because everybody you read in the files is not just a story. These are people. These are young children. These are young women, even if they're old women. These are people that went through horrible, horrible things. And then even if they did survive it, which thank God, some of them did. Even if they did survive it, they have to watch the people who did it get elected to several positions, go home to their families, have children, be around children. And I can only imagine how traumatic that must be. So I am sending them all the love and all the apologies that it's taking us so long to really do something about it, and all the apologies because early on, which I think is another interesting, because I say early on, they've been doing this for years. I read in one, and the date was like 1989. I wasn't even born. So you mean for my whole entire life, you were doing up nonsense. Nonsense. It's insane. And the survivors had to sit here and watch them be able to do up nonsense and still be able to exceed, and make more money and more money and more money. And it's ridiculous. And countries that are implicated, that doing up dealings, like, this needs to be a anyone can get it type thing. Like, if you did this, repercussions. Your company did this, repercussions. Your company, because who was flying the plane? You've had to have known what was going on the plane. In the journal I read, she said the planes were the worst, or the yachts were the worst. Who's driving the yacht? What company's driving the yacht? Hold them accountable. Like, I pray that the survivors are able to see justice in their lifetime. Besides that, I hope everybody has a good day. I know we're all doing the best we can, and we're all going to continue to do the best we can until justice is here and we finally have it, although it's been years, and however long it takes, that's how long we will fight. So that's all. I don't really know how to end this, so I'm just going to end this because I can't, after talking about that, I can't end it on a jolly goodbye. But I just wish you all a beautiful day. And I wish you all miracles that will change your situation for the better so that you are able to do what you are called to do and impact this world the way you are called to impact this world. Goodbye.